Here's a picture in the middle of the demonstration at CES. This is Bob Pariseau, who was the original Amiga evangelist, and boy, he used to do a song and dance that you wouldn't believe. The guy was incredible. Sitting next to him is Glenn Keller, one of the great hardware whizzes of the project. And it may look like that he's assisting Bob Pariseau at the demo, and Bob Pariseau is rolling merrily along, but in truth, the hardware just died. And it froze on a picture, fortunately, so Bob was able to continue as if everything was okay, but Glenn is working furiously in this photograph trying to get the thing to work again.
At CES, we'd always have the same failure every time. The same set of chips would blow up. And I knew which chips were. Glenn pointed them out the first time. Said, these are the chips that always blow up, Dave, every time we have this little static problem. Jay thought we were brilliant. The system would go down. Yeah, we'll go look at it. Change the same chips every time, no matter what was wrong. And it would fix it. It was a trick, Jay. It was a trick. We knew it.
That's where the bouncing ball really started, was one late night at the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas. And, but around 11 or 12 o'clock, I guess pretty much it was over. People were going to go back to their rooms, but RJ and I decided we had a few things we wanted to do back at the convention center where CES was. And so about 4 o'clock in the morning, after, I think we had about a 6-pack of warm beer left over too that we'd hidden in the, you know, those little stands that they put plants in. And I finally got it to where I thought it was reasonable, and I fell asleep. And about 8 o'clock in the morning, we got woke up by the guys coming back in to the booth, and they're like, their mouths were dropping, and they're going to go out and bring all the potential customers back in and say, look what this can do now. Later on, we finally did. We added some stuff that were desperately needed for the next CES show, and we added the horizontal so that it would bounce left to right besides just up and down. And one thing that it desperately needed was the sound. I envisioned something that was like boom, boom, like something really big and ominous and it was going to blow your socks off. And so we searched around to get just that right sound, and we finally, after a lot of experimentation, we got Bob Pariseau took one of these foam bats, and we had 2 of them that we used to work out disagreements, and was starting to hit different things. And then Sam would record the sound on his Apple II, and then he would massage the data so we could play it on the Amiga. And we finally came up with a perfect sound, which was Bob hitting an aluminum garage door, you know, one of those garage doors that goes up and down, and Sam on the other side with his microphone digitizing the sound that was reverberating through the garage. And so that's how the bouncing ball, the bong sound was developed.
And it was a great show. It was a moment of great success. You know, everyone who saw it was awestruck by the thing. A lot of the software developers agreed to get behind it. Some hardware people said, you know, it's interesting. We want to know more so we can start to design hardware for it. And we were ecstatic. We were in heaven. We did really well at the CES, and everyone was still working together. We still had that great passion, that great sense of pulling together as a team to get everything done, but it started to feel in the air as if it was going to go bad, because there was just less and less money all the time. It was getting harder and harder. You know, we knew the kind of debts we had run up with our creditors and the fact that we weren't paying them.
They never missed a payroll.
Didn't that have a lot to do with the prayer meeting?
Had a bit to do with me mortgaging my house, too.
Yeah, Jay did a lot of interesting personal sacrifice. There was a stock thing that you did that you changed stuff on, and you dragged money in from the house. Yeah, it was. I was lucky enough to be sitting 5 feet away from Jay while he was doing, you know, while we were doing stuff. Of course, the dog was there, but then after line draw, the dog was okay. But yeah, poor Jay on the phone. Well, okay, did I get another 0.25%? You know, and it was, yeah, it was a tough time, Jay. Thanks.
No. Well, I wouldn't have normally done that for a company, except it was my company, and I knew the product was, you know, I knew the product was solid concept, and we were so far ahead of everybody else at that time in terms of a really usable computer.
So then came Atari, and Atari said that they would make a deal to buy the company from us, and they you know, they knew that we were real tight for cash, so they made a deal with us where they would advance us $500,000 to make our immediate payments. What we owed immediately. There was a payroll they do the next day that this whole thing came down. And then we would have 1 month to negotiate with them to come to a deal for them to buy the Amiga. And so Atari came in and they said, okay, we'll give you $1 a share for your Amiga stock. And we said, $1 a share? God, in our wildest dreams, we had thought $50 a share, you know, $75 a share. We're going to be rich. It's going to be great. God. $1 a share was ridiculously low. So Dave Morse said, you know, $1 a share is